Morning gooders. Today I thought I'd make a quick video just showing my setup routine, a routine I've developed over the last 2 to 3 years of 3D printing, and it's just a simple little procedure or set of steps that I take to ensure that I have hassle-free 3D printing. But before we get into that, if you're looking for free STL files, head over to my printverygood.blogspot.com site, and there you'll find there's 50 to 60 free STL files up there right at the moment, and I'm continuously adding to those files, and they're all free. They're all free and ready for 3D printing. So if you're looking for free STL files, head over there and help yourself to whatever you want. Now, if you want to support me, you can also do that by heading over to Patreon, which is patreon.com/Paul Van Gans, and I'll put a link to that in the description below to both of these sites. And yeah, if you want to support me, you can do so over there. Righto. Now, I recently moved my 3D printer out to the garage, and I did have it in the office area here with me, but I found that I wanted it to be outside, away from my granddaughter, from fumes and things like that. And also it's allowed me to actually print 24/7 now, which is a huge bonus. So the first thing I do when I'm going to set up my printer is I have a graphite pen, as you can see here, which is just a black lead pencil, and I just rub graphite all over the spool holder. Graphite, if you don't know, is a very good dry lubricant, and so I find this just helps the reel to spin a lot easier when the extruder is pulling the filament off the reel. Now I leave my extruder in this state with a bit of filament just hanging out. I take the spool off once I finish the print and bring it inside to protect it from moisture, because it's very cold out in the garage and it can get down to -2, -3 degrees Celsius. And the first thing I do before I start a print is I go and preheat my 3D printer. And I just select the ABS setting because I know it'll preheat it to 210 degrees. It'll also preheat the bed. While it's preheating, I'll take the SD card out and go back to my computer and save the files, the STL files I want to print onto there. I'll then come back and select remove filament. It'll preheat it to 210 if it's not already there, and I can just peel the filament out. Now I'll take it and draw it out very slowly so that it's pulling any extra filament out of the nozzle. Then I cut the filament. I cut it at 45 degrees or at least a taper on it to help feed it in. And I found that once you snip it, it leaves a sharp edge on the back edge of the cut. And I don't like that. I reckon it's going to score and mark the Teflon tube inside the hot end. So I get a file and just file it against the cut, and I want to feel if it's catching the file, the grooves in the file, and I just keep filing it until it's just smooth. It just runs smoothly along the file, and I find by doing this that it's just so much easier to feed the filament into the hot end by doing it this way. When I just did a 45 degree cut or an angled cut and fed it in, I used to have to sort of poke around and feel around for a bit to try and get it in, and this just eliminates all that. It just goes basically straight in. If you might need to twist it a little bit as you're pushing it in, but it just goes straight in. It's so much easier to load. So once I've done that, then I go back and select add filament and ABS 210 degrees again, just to make sure it's up to temperature. And you'll see here that it's pretty well first go every time. It just goes in. If you just clean up those sharp daggy edges off that cut of the filament, it just works really good. And so yeah, that's pretty well it. That's all I really do. And now it's ready to print. It's just a case of loading the file and printing. Now I will also talk about the enclosure I made for the 3D printer. This has worked out really good for printing out in the garage where it does get to -3 degrees Celsius. I find the polycarbonate sheet with that the twin wall fluting, if you like, it's a really good insulator, and it holds the heat into the enclosure. And I'll put this little top on top, as you can see here, and the heat from the print bed goes up and into that enclosure and just sort of sits there and keeps the spool at a warmer temperature rather than just being out in the cold air. And I find that works really well. I do have the exhaust fan still in the enclosure from when I had it set up inside here. It would exhaust the fumes outside, but I find I don't turn the fan on. It's just out in that cold area. The heat can rise up and dissipate out through that fan, but the spool is in a higher position than where that fan's located, so the heat tends to just collect up there and keep that spool warmer and avoids it from drawing in moisture. So once I've finished printing, then all I do is just snip the filament and take the spool off, bring it back inside and let the printer cool down, turn it off, and then when I go to print next time, it's the same procedure over again. So that's it. That's basically the procedure I do right now, and the routine I go through to get prints ready to print. And I find it's trouble free. I don't get blockages. I don't have hassles. I just make sure my print bed's clean. I'll clean it probably every 5 prints or so with some isopropyl alcohol, and I'll also check the bed leveling every few prints as well, because if you get a print which is a bit hard to get off, you know, you sort of have to sort of push it and jam it around a bit, the spatula, then I find that you can sort of, you know, muck up the leveling a little bit. So I check that regularly, and yeah, I have trouble-free printing now. It just works really well. So that's that. Now the other thing I want to talk to you about is this week I'm going to try and get my Falcon Heavy rocket finished. You can see this is where I'm at the moment. So I've really got to do like the landing legs, the rocket engines on the bottom here, and grid fins. Grid fins are, you know, pretty well there, so they'll need to go on. And then it's just looking at my reference image and making sure that I'm adding the detail where it's required. So that's my goal for this week, to try and get that finished, and then that will go up to my printverygood.blogspot free STL file collection. Now the other thing I should mention there is, if you want to be notified of these files when they're uploaded to my blogspot, just come up to the top here and click the subscribe button at the top. If you click there, you'll get notifications every time I upload a new file. So yeah, if you're interested in that, please subscribe to that, and then you'll get the notifications. All right, well, I think that's it. That's it for today, at least. So I've got a list of things to talk about this week, and tomorrow morning I'll be making a new one of these videos. So thanks very much for watching, and thank you for making it this far if you did watch, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye for now.